Jackass, listen to me. You can take a rest out there now while Paige and the gang swing out on a little number that's dedicated to everybody with a special day.
Pick you up around me. Try not to be late. It's so hard to do it when you've got a special day. The heart is starting at 9. All the dances are mine. Yes, I really race, 'cause I've got a special day. At 10 o'clock, we'll start to rock. So hold me tight. Wish we could dance all night. If we could only pretend. The music never will end. Never seems to get late when you're in love with a special day.
Man, she's got my mouth watering.
Well, hang on. It's just about ready. Where's Don?
He went out in front a few minutes ago.
I don't think he's having much fun without Susie.
She's really pulling one this time, isn't she? Don't you know she'll have a story to tell when she gets back?
I think I'll go find him.
He went out that way.
Don? Don? It's just that... Oh, never mind. It's okay, Don. I just haven't been myself lately. I'm all right, Don. But as for you... Hey, kids. Don has just agreed to sing for us.
I don't want to sing.
I'll teach you to go around scaring people.
At 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, we'll start to rock, we'll start to rock. So hold me tight, so hold me tight. Wish we could dance all night, if we could only pretend. The music never will end. Never seems to get late when you're in love with a special day.
Get away from that window. Do you want somebody to see you?
They're having too good a time to look up to the house.
She's been wrestling. Carter's gonna have an attack. Bad one.
Daddy bird, let's flip, Daddy bird, let's hop on and fly away tonight. I'm white, lady out, got eyes, gonna hop, let's hop on and fly away tonight. Bird's got a nest in a treetop, must have swinging view, hops all around to the bebop, stops in the middle of an I love you. I'm hip, Daddy bird, let's flip, Daddy bird, let's hop on and fly away tonight. Drummer man has a drumstick. Trumpet man has a horn. Saxophone playing some lick. Stops in the middle of a bundle of I'm there, Daddy Bear, go square, Daddy Bear, gonna growl to damn far away tonight. don't care. Mama Bear, nowhere. Mama Bear, gonna browse the damn far away tonight. Horse, he's running out of full jog. Kitty cat's waiting to pounce. Joy, don't feed the bulldog. Hit me with a hot, no, watch me bounce. Let's rock. Goldilocks. Have you heard Daddy Bird? Let's hop all day and fly away tonight. Let's hop all day and fly away tonight.
It's about 12:30. That means it's time for... a bad film update. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let Dane get his composure here. Hang on. Laugh into the mic there, Dane.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. Dane, I think, ruptured a blood vessel. His face is just sort of purple right now. That, of course, was Paul Kavanaugh and his trio from the great film Frankenstein's Daughter, doing Rockin' Daddy, Shabba Wabba Dop Babba Dabba Da Day, and of course for that special date. And a lot of people don't know that they, of course, went down in that tragic plane crash with Buddy Holly. I think it was Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, and then, of course, Paige Kavanaugh and his trio.
People didn't really care about them that much.
That was a shame, too, because they were a band, just the big Gene Vincent, Paige Kavanaugh tour. That was from Frankenstein's Daughter, and that was a bad film that was on during the week. I think it was on last Tuesday or something. I don't know. Hell, I can't remember.
I watched it Tuesday night, yeah.
Tuesday night.
I watched it Tuesday with Mark.
Well, let's talk about some good movies we saw.
That's right.
We saw Targets with Boris Karloff.
Fine, great
last
movie.
night.
Yeah.
And it was made in '68 and kind of considered his last film. And it's very good, sort of about gun control. Not really. It's more about, well, it's about gun nuts and things like that, but it's about a sniper that sort of goes nuts and starts picking off people from a highway in California. And a drive-in movie, and Karloff sort of gets to play himself, actually.
Mm-hmm. Orloff,
with a great deal of dignity. Byron Orlock.
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 Oh, wasn't it Orloff?
No, it was Orlock.
Oh.
And it was directed by Peter Bogdanovich, and many people think that's his best film, and it was his first film when he was sort of a film student. And he somehow, unfortunately, had a big romance with, of course, that great actress, Sybil Shepherd, and unfortunately made about 4 or 5 films and insisted that she be in every one of them. And so his films suffered considerably for that. Daisy Miller, At Long Last Love.
We don't want to talk about those.
No, we don't.
Targets was a good movie.
Targets was a good film with Boris Karloff. Peter Bogdanovich was also in it. It was on Saturday night at 7 o'clock on the USA Network, and it was real good. But bad films, Dungeons of Horror, of course, that we've talked about before, and played excerpts from it.
Yeah.
And from 1962, filmed in San Antonio, Texas. And our friend, kind of our consultant for the show, Jack, showed me I think it's Film Comment, one of the magazines. Anyway, they ask, 5 or 8 some film critics.
Or more.
Yeah. From various fanzines to pick their 10 worst films of all time. And they asked Michael Weldon. And Dungeons of Horror is in his top 10. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty incredible. I don't think there probably is only maybe, 10 lines of actual dialogue in that? It's all this stupid narration,
Yeah.
Slowly she crept towards me, her leprous face.
Yeah. The overriding technique. But that was on Tuesday at noon. And then, folks, this is really, really sad. Well, okay, let's talk about what I watched last night. We got into a big Ed Wood film festival. Ed Wood's famous Plan 9 from Outer Space, being just one of his atrocities. And Jack and I, Mark Old, Larry Lorenz, Pat McCann, Spud Webb,
Jeff, was he there? Tangeman?
Yeah, Jeff Tangeman. Shug Fisher, I think, was there. Yeah, Shug was there. Doodles Weaver was there. Well, but anyway, we watched a bunch of Ed Wood films, and we watched Glenn or Glenda. Well, we couldn't get excerpts tonight, but we are seriously considering serializing Glenn or Glenda, aren't we? Maybe having kind of a weekly thing about that.
I think so. I think that, I think people out there, if you're really interested in this Glenn or Glenda movie, you should call down here, and maybe we could arrange for special screenings of it. It's that good.
And it's a tale about Glenn/Glenda and Alan/Ann, and they are transvestites, and we're not, let's get this straight, we're not making light, and we don't automatically think a transvestite's hilarious, but believe me when you watch this film, because I think what brings to mind to me is, there's a transvestite. You ever seen And Justice for All, the film?
No.
Not a great film, but there's a transvestite in that film, and he's portrayed very sympathetically, and it's done very well, but when you watch Glenn or Glenda, it's
not portrayed as well.
No, it just doesn't quite come off. But anyway, Dane/Vasina. We also watched Night of the Ghouls, Ed Wood, another Ed Wood film, and Night of the Ghouls was his big follow-up to Plan 9 from Outer Space, and it's about this home where Dr. Acula, pretty darn clever. Dr. Acula, he has these fake seances to raise people from the dead, but it's all fake, he's kidding. But he accidentally does bring some people back from the grave. And it's got numerous people left over from Plan 9. Great actor Duke Moore. Vampira, Tor Johnson.
As Lobo.
As Lobo.
Lobo!
As Sheriff Lobo. So we're going to play an excerpt of Night of the Ghouls, and this is a really scary part. It was made in 1959 by the famous bad film director Ed Wood, Jr. This old couple is driving in their car, and boy, they take a wrong turn. Can you believe it? Boy, they just get off the beaten path, and they're heading towards Willow Falls or something, Willow Creek or some such thing, and they're really scared about it. So we're going to hear the old couple here talking about this. So this is from Ed Wood's 1959 classic, Night of the Ghouls.
House I investigated a few years ago. The one that was destroyed by lightning. That's right. You knew someone rebuilt it, didn't you? No, I didn't. Well, somebody did. Anyway, as the old couple drove along, the storm was coming up. You know how bad that road is, even at best.
How's this driving so fast? It makes me nervous. Why did you ever take a road like this? Why didn't you stay on the main highway?
Well, taking that shortcut over the mountains knocked off about 10 miles off our trip.
Oh, a long and nice trail, but you need it.
Well, the doc said my sister was in bad shape. What else could we do?
Oh, I know, but driving in this storm weather doesn't help my nerves.
Well, it ain't storming yet.
No, but I bet it will be before we cross this here mountain.
Oh, stop your fretting. I'm doing the driving, and I know what I'm doing. Doggone it.
It's dark as pitch out there. I can't see a thing. Where are we?
Well, we passed old Rockdale Cemetery about 5 minutes ago. Must be getting near that old house at Willow's Lake.
Willow's Lake? You mean that place where the mad doctor made monsters?
Oh, it ain't no use getting excited. The doctor and the monsters were destroyed years ago by lightning.
Well, my, that was frightening. Gall darn it.
Dark as pitch out there right now.
Yeah, it's dark as pitch, gall darn it. That was from Night of the Ghouls, and later on, of course, all sorts of grisly things happen. A big fat bald guy runs around, and I don't know, it got really boring after a while. It got real boring. It wasn't nearly as entertaining as Plan 9 or Glenn or Glenda or Bride of the Monster, which are the other Ed Wood films that I've seen. Another thing, it's been a real brainy kind of week. You know, a lot of brain films. Last week, of course, we talked about the Brainiac and the guy that ate brains with which type of silverware you should use if you're going to eat brains.
Oh, I looked it up, incidentally, this week. I went to the library. A spoon.
Like just a regular teaspoon.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh. Yeah, I think that'd probably be right.
Tablespoon, you look like a pig.
Because it kind of looked like yogurt, and you usually eat yogurt. You kind of look like a cheese souffle.
I think you can, use anything to eat brain with if you put your mind to it. There's not a lot of thought that goes into that.
No, when you're hungry and you want some brains, you go for it. But then last night we watched Fiend Without a Face, and this was a really kind of gooey film to watch. The brains were invisible at first, and they had little spinal cords on them, and they'd attach to people's heads, and they'd go, and it would suck the brain out of the back of their head, and you could hear them. It sort of sounded like people stepping on a bed of Rice Krispies, something, or like someone taking cellophane and wadding up. It just would go, and then they'd go, and the person would go, ah! So they're invisible, though. But later on, the scientist is able to, bombard them with radiation. Don't we always, And pretty soon they can see the brains, but they can, fly through windows and stuff and suck on the back of your head. And but you can. What's kind of nice is these brains. You don't have to be real fancy. You can just shoot these brains. But you would shoot them in all this kind of this Taco John's taco sauce would come out after you shot him. It was really kind of horrendous. So anyway, what we're getting at here is that it's been really a brain type of week.
That's right.
Bad brain films and things. And I guess in the Frozen Dead that's on tonight, a woman's head gets chopped off, but with her brain she is able to communicate telepathy, and all that. So we pulled this old chestnut out of the old Vasina Meile library here. And this is from a kind of a famous brain film, so should we let them hear it here?
Yeah,
this is a trailer for a great brain film here on the Bad Film Update.
What is it?
I don't know.
Ejected from unexplored secret stratus, this giant, harder than steel piston, disgorges strange creatures, inundating our world, twisting the emotions of women, distorting our men.
This is a piece we got off the mare. Reflex action like a snake. Cut a snake in half and the two pieces go off in different directions.
These things take over a man's mind. He becomes a robot? A machine taking orders?
Join the hunt for the hiding place of terror. Find the breeding place of these globs of destruction.
In feeding, the mouth parts rupture the cells, convey the food to the stomach by a pumping action.
That'll burst your blood vessels with suspense. See the Brain Eaters.
Boy, you mean these things can control a man's mind and becomes a robot, a machine, Dane?
Boy.
So anyway, brain eating was kind of a big theme. Last week, the Brainiac, and then we watched Fiend Without a Face. That was rented out. That wasn't on TV,
right.
So we don't want people to misconstrue that.
That's right.
And then the crushing news came Thursday.
Yeah.
The teenage werewolf was not.
That's right.
Boy, here we've been talking about
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
The big hit tune that was in the film, Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. We've been talking about that all last week, really running it into the ground, much the same as we run Gilligan into the ground.
You brought it up. You did it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell everybody out there that right before we went on the air, Dave took a tape and hit Paul in the head again. You did it. You did it.
Yeah, I admit that.
All right, I deserved it.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Anyway, what that had to do with the teenage werewolf, I'll never know. But anyway,
what does Gilligan have to do with the teenage werewolf?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
No, Gilligan has something to do with everything. Remember?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's kind of part of my religion. But the teenage werewolf wasn't on. It was supposed to be on when? Thursday night, 2:30 in the morning.
Well, it wasn't on. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to play an excerpt from it. Why not? We're going to play a trailer for I Was a Teenage Werewolf, and you're going to hear a great, great description of the acting ability of the great Michael Landon.
Michael Landon, who now has his show Highway to Heaven.
Oh, really?
Big show. Thank God he's got another show.
Is Shug Fisher in that one?
No, I think it has like Jack Elam or somebody. I don't know.
Who?
I don't know. Hobart Kavanaugh, I think, is in it. Okay.
How about Sid Pink? Does he ever write scripts anymore?
Sid Melchior. Okay, so we're going to hear a trailer now. Since it wasn't on, you know, people were we were flooded with calls tonight. What the hell happened? How come I Was a Teenage Werewolf wasn't on? And we said, hey, you know, calm down, Ichabod. We're going to play I Was a Teenage Werewolf as a trailer just to sort of appease these fiends out here.
These she-demons.
Yes, these she-demons.
Look, Dave, it's a demon.
A she-demon. You're cheap. A cheapie. Where's my blue cashmere shorty? Okay. And we're off on a tear here, on a tangent. Okay, here's a trailer from I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Doctor, please! I know they're going to catch me, but don't let anyone see me like that. Please, Doctor, help me!
Michael Landon in a powerful performance as the boy possessed. Yvonne Lyne, appealing as the girl who loves him. Whit Bissell, unforgettable as the scientist maddened by the mystery of the werewolf. And Tony Marshall, a tough, friendly enemy.
These the official pictures?
Yes, Chief.
Slash on either side of the throat. You got any theories?
Fangs. He was killed by a werewolf.
Panic penetrates every home when this strange, unknown killer hits town, taking hold of the teenage crowd, coloring their practical jokes with hysterical humor that'll make you fall flat on your face with horror.
Remember how wonderful it was when you sprang suddenly, dug in with your fangs, a soft throat, the gush of warm blood?
No! No!
Nothing you've ever seen has such blood-chilling savagery. Nothing you've ever conceived packs such a spine-tingling jolt. This high school boy, a teenage werewolf, a constant threat of claw-ripping attack to everyone, to the brave and the beautiful.
That hurt. God, I had the headphones on. That woman.
Well, a lot of screams tonight in these.
Boy.
But
have you ever fallen flat on your face with horror?
No, actually.
Boy, I would think that would be painful.
Boy, Michael Landon. What?
In a powerful performance, it
help
said.
me, doctor, help me. Don't let anyone see me like this. I've got acne all over my face.
Whit Bissell.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
He's not good, just unforgettable.
That doesn't mean he was good. He was just unforgettable. And, of course, we remember him in How to Make a Monster. He's been in good movies. He was in HUD. How come he went from the teenage werewolf to HUD?
I think he went from teenage werewolf to HUD.
Yes, he did.
But he went up, you see. He didn't.
I know, but how? I mean, the casting director said, well, Whit, I saw you in the teenage werewolf. I was really impressed. Come on and be in this good film.
He said, you got any theories?
Yeah, really. No, because in that, all he got to do was work with cow vaccines and stuff in HUD. So he kind of went from wolves to cows. But anyway, who gives a gosh darn about Whit Bissell? Quite a film. We were really disappointed it wasn't on. It's not our fault. I think you should write to WTBS and say, Ted, yank Jerry Falwell and get the teenage werewolf on.
That's right.
No, they showed Get Smart in a documentary about Swaziland.
Hey, you know, if they can't show I Was a Teenage Werewolf, they could show, you know, I Was a Teenage Tabonga. I mean, I don't care. I mean, as long as there's some kind of monster that's teenager, you know?
Yeah, a teenage monster, but there wasn't. We talked about Fantastic Invasion of Planet Earth. Jack watched it, said it was as boring as when he first saw it. And it had Deborah Wally, who was married to John Ashley, who was in Frankenstein's Daughter. It had Michael Cole, of course, from Mod Squad, so you knew that was a heck of a film. And we're going to play another excerpt from Frankenstein's Daughter here at the end. So you want to kind of fill them in on this?
This is the Dr. Frank, not Frankenstein. My name is Frank, Dr. Frank. Oliver Frank wants to go on a date with Susie. Susie's kind of the tramp of the...
She's a brazen hussy.
Yes, and she's supposed to be about, what, 17, and she looks about, maybe a little bit over 26, you know, I mean...
Her you-know-whats are way too big for a 17-year-old.
That's right.
Really, I mean, I'm not trying to be gauche here.
That's right. Gall darn it. So Dr. Frank takes Susie out on a date, and they go park. They go park on kind of a what is it? You know, the highway.
A street.
It's a highway.
It's like a lover's lane.
Yeah, a lover's lane, a highway, and they go park, and this is a scene where Susie and Dr. Frank are making out, and Susie resists Dr. Frank's advances, and he suddenly gets a very bright idea. Speaking of brains, right?
Yeah, using his brain.
He's using his brain on this one.
And he's mad because she won't put out, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
This is no feminist film here, believe me. And Dr. Frank looks like he's had 3-4 caps of Spanish fly or something. 'Cause this guy is really hot to trot. He's really got a bizarre look on his face. He's really overamped. So we're going to hear this. And of course, what does he do? Like we said, it's not a feminist film. He gets mad and, of course, runs her over.
That's right.
But he needs a brain. That's why. And you'll sort of hear this whisper inside his head. Where are we going to get a brain? I need a brain.
It's kind of like a Wizard of Oz theme in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Another brain-oriented thing here. Brain Eaters, the Brainiac, Fiends Without a Face.
Well, boy, as soon as we get done with this movie, we're going to go out and claim this planet for Brooklyn, you know?
Angry Red Planet. Okay, so here is from Frankenstein's Daughter from 1959.
Wow. Will you stop it?
You little...
I am.
Look, you agreed to park here with me.
My shoe.
You're deliberately prodding me.
Too bad.
You're a kid.
Why don't you help me look for my shoe instead?
Tell me you didn't like that.
Why don't you join the group with the amateurs? Here it is. Look, let's just forget about it, huh? Take me home and we'll call it a night, okay? I mean, we can go back now. We'll see each other again, okay? Look, I want to go home.
Well, why'd you meet me on the corner instead of at your house?
Well, I'm supposed to be home.
What made you so ashamed to have me call at your house?
Well, I wasn't supposed to go out tonight. I sneaked out.
And no one knows you're with me.
No, and if they did, they'd slip their lids. Why? Why do you ask that? Don't come any closer. Leave me alone.
Where can I get a brain?
I need a brain. Where can I get a brain?
Can I get a brain? You know, I think that the people that produce these films need a brain, you know? Where can we get the people? No clock.
It's a pick you up,
Daddy Bird. Hey, Daddy Bird.
Shabba-dabba-wabba-dabba-dee-ba-da-bop. Yes, sir. Frankenstein's Daughter, classic, done with that wet toilet paper makeup. Ooh, that sounded like Fiends Without a Face.
That's right.
It sounded. Do that again. Yeah, that was what the Fiends Without a Face sounded like when they'd sneak up and suck the brains out of the people's napes. They'd grab them right by the nape. Oh. Well, son of a gun, let's talk about what's coming up in the next week here. Like we said, tonight, the Frozen Dead's on. Probably over by now.
Yeah.
Later on tonight, Devil's Messenger, and I've seen parts of it, and it's a sort of a cluttered, claustrophobic kind of film that jumps around a lot. It was made in Sweden. Well, it has Lon Chaney in it, but he sort of sits around, doesn't really do a whole bunch. But
not like Lon Chaney on The Monkees, where he has a lot to do.
The devil sends a beautiful murder victim and as his emissary to Earth to bring an envelope containing a formula for human destruction. With Lon Chaney and, of course, the famous Karen Cadler. Hell, I don't know who it is. Okay.
Hey, Daddy Bird.
Hey, Daddy Bird. Pick you up. Hey. Bad comedy tomorrow night at Toll K. Now listen to the Around Town. This is how together these people are. Atoll K. This is a Laurel and Hardy comedy classic. Atoll K is considered the worst Laurel and Hardy movie ever made. It's their last film, and it's considered the worst. That and The Big Noise. These schlemiels, putzes, have no idea what they're talking about. Wednesday, The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. I want to read about this because I was reading about it, and it sounds...
Dave, your Psychotronic's in two halves.
I know it. I know. And it sounds like a pretty weird, kinky kind of film.
Hey, it couldn't be any weirder than, Fiend Without a Face, right?
Yeah, Fiend Without a Face was pretty strange. Okay.
Horrible
Dr. Hitchcock. It's an Italian film. It's going to be on Wednesday at noon on the Big 8 channel. Dr. Hitchcock, a necrophiliac living in 1885, likes to drug his wife for sexual funeral games.
Shut up, Paul.
When he goes too far, she dies. 12 years later, the sick doc marries the lovely Cynthia, played by Barbara Steele. But wife number one returns from the grave in terrible shape. He tries to restore the rotting first wife by hanging his second one upside down and draining her blood. An outrageous Euro-Gothic horror film with some choice ad lines like, his secret was a coffin named Desire.
Oh, wow. Kind of not
and the candle of his lust burnt brightest in the shadow of the grave.
Jeez.
The American version is missing 12 minutes of sexual deviation. Thank God for that. The director was a former art critic. This was made in '62, called The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
So if you're a necrophilia fan, I mean, that's the one to watch, right? I mean,
not a real popular subject. Maybe they'll show this at, imagine they'll be having a lot of parties at the mortuaries around town. Okay. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, or 3:15 in the morning on Showtime, Slumber Party Massacre. And have you read about this?
No.
It's a gore movie, and Dane and I aren't really into gore movies a whole lot. But Michael Weldon of the Psychotronic, and he is into gore movies, so beware. He says it's fun. Okay, he says a short 77-minute humorous and gory, no-frills slasher movie. A group of high school girl basketball players and a few awkward male crashers are attacked at a slumber party by a demented-looking, wide-eyed killer with a portable power drill. Ugh. Boy, I don't know. The guy just shows up. There's no time wasted on past events, revenge plots, or police. The script by feminist novelist Rita Mae Brown, and she wrote a book called Ruby Fruit Jungle. I'm not familiar with it. Makes the characters a bit more human than the usual stupid, drugged-out losers featured in most of these films, and parodies the cliches without sacrificing the pace or excitement. a classic of its kind, and it, of course, is from New World Pictures. 1982, Slumber Party Massacre. That'll be on, excuse me, Wednesday night at 9 on Showtime. And Thursday, 9:15, WTBS, the original Dragnet film.
Oh, no, don't do it, Dave. Don't throw that can and hit Paul in the head, please. He's already got one bump.
Would you please? Why don't you tell all of Lincoln? I wasn't going to throw it. I was kidding.
You picked it up like you're going to hit Paul in the head with that
wasn't
can.
going to hit him in the head.
I've seen you throw
water.
things.
Shut up. It's got water in it, and I sure as hell wasn't going to waste water on
We're going to
Paul.
have to take up like a fund to send Paul to Africa or something so he can get away from Dave and his abuse.
Yeah. Mean, terrible Dave. Okay. Friday, shut up. You haven't even got your psychotronic on you.
Mark's got it.
I have to do all the work.
Mark's got it, Dave.
All right. Oh, no. No. That was a fiend without a face. It just sucked my brain out. So okay. Journey to the Far Side of the Sun. It's going to be on... 1969, it's going to be on next Friday, Channel 31, 7 o'clock. Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, the British team that brought us TV puppet shows like Supercar and Thunderbirds and the live-action show Space 1999, produced and wrote this neglected feature starring Roy Thins.
Isn't that Thinnis?
I don't know. An astronaut is sent to
Roy Thins.
Who gives a hit? An astronaut is sent to a planet hidden behind the sun with an orbit parallel to Earth. The spaceship crash lands and he finds himself back on Earth, except everything is backwards.
Gee, everything?
You mean like, is it like that? 20 minutes were cut for the American release, and it's got Herbert Lom in it, too. But I think the one to look for is Friday night at 1:30 in the morning, of course, the Big 8 channel, The Monster from Piedras Blancas. I think that one looks the neatest. And it has a picture of him, and he does look kind of scary. And here's what it says. A lighthouse keeper puts out food for a legendary monster he claims lives in a nearby cave. Nobody believes him until the creature shows up and rips the heads off a few people.
Oh, hey, I'd believe it after that.
It has little horns, big claws, and a hellish, snarling face. The monster resembles a scarier version of the Black Lagoon creature. It was created and played by the film's producer, Jack KZUM. Les Tremayne is a doctor. Of course, Les Tremayne from the Angry Red Planet.
That's right.
Gene Carmen and Don Sullivan hang out on Lover's Beach as potential headless teens. Who's Don Sullivan?
Don't know.
Giant Gila monster.
You're kidding.
No.
Let's go back to one. Drag.
Shh. Shut up, Paul. Paul, shut up.
No, Dave, don't.
The Monster of Piedras Blancas, that's going to be on Friday night, 1:30 in the morning, Channel 8. Directed by Irving Berwick. Okay. Saturday at 5 o'clock in the morning, Lon Chaney, The Frozen Ghost. It's an inner sanctum, and it's fairly boring. It's 1945. It's kind of fun. It's another one of these movies where he talks to himself a lot.
Lon Chaney did that.
Yeah, he did.
Necrophilia.
Okay. Okay. Next. Shut up, Paul. Shut up.
I was asking a question.
Shut up.
But a bitch. You goddamn nigger. God, throw things around, man. Jeez. God, I'm asking a question. Get out. Get out. I don't care. Going around.
That seems like a pretty good idea, Dave.
You know what you do is? You gotta shut up.
to mind. So is the troops jealous of you? Same old suit since 1962. Because the military two-step down the nape of my neck. I wanna go home. I don't want to stay. Give up education is a bad mistake. Midweek hunger, brain fears. Surf what you on knees you in the groin, elbow in the face. Bruises bigger than dinner plates. I wanna go home. I don't wanna stay.
This is KZUM Lincoln. Well, that was, you kind of heard a definition of all hell breaking loose. That's what it's called, all hell breaking loose. We should sort of explain what happened there. Occasionally, Paul sits in with us when we're doing this bad film update, and Paul has a tendency to butt in whenever we're talking, and we've, just so I'm not going to be the villain forever in this, Paul's been told repeatedly not to butt in when we're trying to talk about these things. For example, he started talking about some other film that we weren't even talking about, and he happened to make a racial slur, and we apologize for that, only because he probably couldn't think of another word to use, and that was the easiest word for him to use. So you got to hear us swearing and yelling and telling Paul to get out of the studio, and then you heard Wall of Voodoo at 45. So that was kind of that was really chaos. And then, of course, those fiends without a face were sucking our brains out at the same time. So
I think this is kind of like the Anger and Planet.
yeah, it was an angry beige studio down here. So we asked Paul to leave, and he did. He got mad because I threw the around town at him. But Paul's done this numerous times, and he just keeps butting in, and I'm sorry that it turned out to be great radio like it did. It was great radio. So anyway, we're really not done here. Hell, this Bad Film Update's been about 45 minutes now. I was just about to talk about frogs. Let's get away from Brains and Dragnet and anything else, but Frogs is a Ray Milland movie. And as my friend says, did Ray Milland ever make a good film besides The Lost Weekend? And I started thinking for a second, and I couldn't think of one.
The Man, the X with X-ray eyes.
Yeah, that's, well...
Not a good film.
It's okay. It's not a bad film, but it's not like a classic like The Lost Weekend.
No.
But Ray Milland's made a lot of real dirtbag films, and Frogs is one of them. He plays a great-grandfather who gathers his family to celebrate his birthday. But what happens, of course, which happens a lot when grandfathers have a birthday party, the ecological balance of frogs, lizards, and snakes is upset. That happens quite often, yeah. And so they go hog wild, and I don't know what exactly frogs could do to you, really. Wet on you, I suppose.
Oh, maybe give you warts or something, you know.
I don't know, but it was a classic made in '72. Jack and I saw it at the theater. It was a double feature, Frogs and Godzilla versus the Smog Monster.
I remember one time...
Fine double bill.
I remember one time Ray Milland was on Johnny Carson, and Carson wasn't the host. I think it was Don Rickles was the guest host, and Pat Boone was on, and Pat Boone was all excited. He wanted to talk to Ray Milland about frogs.
Oh, did he?
Don Rickles says, this man is a great actor. He's won an Oscar for Lost Weekend. He says, and you want to talk to him about some trick-or-treat film that only played in Pomona? I mean, come on, Pat.
Well, Pat's a real bright guy anyway.
Oh,
Pat's
sure.
made a lot of fine films.
Yeah. Like such as Perils of Pauline.
Yeah, Perils of Pauline.
I Was a Teenage Milk Drink. I don't know.
Yeah, Pat should... Of course, Pat got nailed in the big Zit Cream scandal.
Oh, yeah.
Selling the phony acne medication. Okay. And finally, we have for next Saturday night at 3:30 in the morning, but I think it's worth taping, Hot Rods to Hell. Dade's still laughing about Paul. Here's what the poster said, though. Call them punks, call them animals, but you better get out of their way. Then it says, they're souped up for thrills, and there's no limit to what they'll do. Hot Rods to Hell. With Dana Andrews, who's in The Frozen Dead.
Yeah.
Earlier tonight with the Frozen
Renowned
Nazi guys. And it's produced by Sam Katzman, producer of famous Bela Lugosi films, so you know this is going to be great. They're souped up for thrills, and there's no limit to what they'll do, the ad screamed. Dana Andrews, his wife Jean Crane, their teenage daughter and little boy drive through California desert for a new life, heading for a new life running a restaurant motel. Their dreams go bad when Mimsy Farmer and her two delinquent boyfriends chase the car, throw beer cans in the window, try to seduce the daughter, and finally drive Dana to take action. Ooh. In the end, the troublemakers promise to behave like sensible adults. I think we're going to have to get some tapes of the music interludes, Dane. You know why?
Why?
Music's by the Mickey Rooney Jr. Combo.
Really?
So that should be pretty good. Originally filmed as a television movie, it was deemed too sensational for that medium, so it played in theaters and ended up on TV soon after. Excuse me. And Mimsy was in Riot on Sunset Strip.
Yeah, I know who Mimsy Farmer is. I've seen her in a lot of movies.
She takes acid and everything.
Yeah.
So that's Hot Rods to Hell. So that's our rather serene, tranquil end to the Bad Film Update after everything was shot to hell there for a moment.
I think that, you know, if you heard this Bad Film Update, you know, you'll probably want to hear the other ones.
That's just damn good radio, isn't it? See, what a group of professionals. Leave half the mics on, wall of proof, whatever. Yeah, well, Fiends without a face.
I think it's only fitting that this Bad Film Update occurred on the week that you saw Glenn or Glenda. Why don't you do a dialogue from that, like Bela Lugosi talking?
Pull the string, little puppy dogs. What was the line from the book? I can't remember it now. Little green dragons sit on your doorstep and eat little boys. Yes, from Glenn or Glenda. So keep in mind that that'll probably be coming up. But for next week, maybe Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, Hot Rods to Hell, maybe Frogs. Hell, I don't know. Maybe Blonde Bait. That's on tomorrow at noon.
What's the necrophilia one?
Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best one. Necrophilia.
And Slumber Party Massacre, if you're, into gore. So thanks for listening. This has been a bad film update. Gosh, let's end it now. Thank you.
Our weatherman, we're bringing you the blues here. We're going to have an update in the weather in about 3 minutes or so be sure to stick around for that. All right, a few good programs here on KZUM, The Time Machine, with Bill Stoughton, who I hear is going to be leaving us pretty soon, and Radio Free Lincoln with Jeff Tangeman every Tuesday morning from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. All right, well, as promised, here's Paul Killian, KZUM's weatherman, to let you know what's happening in the Lincoln Land area. Paul?
Currently in Lincoln, we have 59 degrees under clear skies. The forecast for this afternoon calls for mostly sunny skies and warmer conditions. The high today in near 65. Tonight, clearing and cold, low around 25 to 30, with winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20. Tuesday, mostly sunny and warmer. The high near 65 degrees. Extended forecast for the capital city Wednesday through Friday shows a period of light showers coming in Wednesday and Thursday, mostly sunny Friday. The highs Wednesday in the mid-50s to around 60, cooling to around the 40s by Wednesday night. And then on Friday, sunny skies, high 65 to 70. Again in Lincoln, we have clear skies and 59 degrees. Here's a reminder from KZUM FM and, of course, Mr. Mark over there. I don't know what his last name is, but he works on Fridays from 7:30 till 9 with the dance party. This is the reggae safety tip of the day. From the Lincoln Police Department, in cooperation with this station, says that driving and drinking, they do not mix. Postpone driving and using metrical equipment. Sober it up. Drink a cup of coffee. Take a sandwich. Or have someone drive you home. Or stay overnight with a friend. This message from the state troopers of this area, in cooperation with this station, KZUM, and me, Paul Killian, who said that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul. That's the weather tip for today and the safety tip for today also. That's Mark Terhune, who does the dance party every other Friday. He'll be on 2 Fridays from now. John Schmitz will be doing KZUM Hayride this Friday from 7:30 till 9. All right. Thanks for the weather. It seems like it's going to be very, very beautiful today and tomorrow and beginning of this week. So that's fun. I've got a person on the phone here, so I'm going to have to get going. But Mark Olds, who is out there in Radio Land, howdy, Mark, taped some Johnny Winter for me. This is, he taped Johnny Winter from his Austin
Texas Blues album, and also Second Winter. I queued up some Johnny Winter for you, Mark, so do enjoy. You know the tunes better than I do, so here goes. Some Johnny Winter.